listening to What Came From the Radio. You know this is Jennifer Elise Feldman. If you don't, you do now. I'm here with Gabe Cymbalista. Now, Gabe is a Touretteer, which I just learned that term, since a young age, and he's always wanted to work in film. So right now, he's 38 whole years old, working in the film industry, fulfilling his dreams, which is very cool. I just spoke to him last week about things he's working on. It's very cool, very cool. He's a cameraman, he's a video editor. He's a producer. I'm sure he's a emotional and physical support to a lot of people. He's a very caring guy, very empathetic guy. He's a pianist. He plays a piano. Let's not confuse that. And he's following his dream and fulfilling his dreams of becoming a director while dealing with, I'd say it's a pretty severe case of Tourette's for most of your life. So yeah, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you, Jen. Yeah, my Tourette's has had its ups and downs. It's evolved a lot since I was younger. It used to be a lot worse. But now my verbal tics are like back to the beginning where my verbal tics were worse than my physical tics, or motor tics as they're called. So
Okay.
it takes
All
a
right.
toll on me. So, but it's funny, like you said, when working in the industry, when working on sets, my Tourette's just goes away. Like I'm able to
Wow.
control it
Really?
very well.
Really?
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
do you think that is?
It's just like a common thing with people with Tourette syndrome that when they focus on something, when they're
Mhm.
honed in on something, their
Mhm.
Tourette's goes away or it dies down, so to speak.
I have intense, well, not really now. I'm almost 42, but I'd say most of my life,
You don't look it.
everyone, well, thank you. Today I'm looking pretty young, but it depends on the day. It depends on the day. Yeah, I'd say more than half my life I've had like very insane like food cravings because I go by the belief that all humans are addicts, so you want to pick the addiction that's like the most beneficial, like healthy addictions rather than the unhealthy ones, and that those healthy addictions can kind of crowd out bad ones. But I would say, for years of my life I had bad food cravings. If people disappointed me, I'd want to go get, ice cream with sprinkles. That's just like a thing. It's like it sounds silly, but when on a film set and doing that with things I love creatively, I don't think about, ice cream with sprinkles. I don't think about having bread with butter. I don't, I just think about the process and who I'm with and helping them or getting the shot. I really don't even think about food at all.
It's
So,
very funny you said that everyone's an
hmm
addict because there's a great
hmm
quote on a trailer for Train Spotting 2. I'm gonna send it your way. It's like you're an
hmm
addict, so be addicted, but be addicted to the good things, family, friends, what you're passionate about. It's almost like
yeah,
encouraging healthy addictions.
right. Well, I mean, the brain, it's wired a certain way. So you do something, let's say you have a food at 5 o'clock today. There's a very high chance you're going to crave that same food at 5 o'clock the next day. So you can wire yourself in a way that's going to set you up for a good life or a crappy life. But anyway, back to you. I want to ask you some questions now. People often fantasize about the film industry or some type of job or, a woman or a man, and they put it on a pedestal and they think, oh, I'm going to work in the entertainment industry and it's going to be like this. So, what fantasies did you have, and like, how are things different now that you're actually working in the industry?
So since I was 5 years old, I love cinema, like specifically horror, but I expanded as I got older.
Mhm.
And I always liked other things like archaeological stuff, like paleontology when I was younger, but like it's never something I could see myself doing as a profession. So, Um, but over the years, I developed a passion and a dream to be a director. And I know that I've directed a few short films when I was in college, or when I was done with college. I went to school of visual arts in New York City, and I did a few short films, and I got a taste of what it was like. And I have a number, and over the years, even before I got into the industry, which is just in the last several years, I've had a lot of friends in the industry for the last, like, I'd say 15 years or so. And I'm been blessed because a lot of them have become close friends of mine, some of which because of the Tourette's, because it's a
Mhm.
conversation starter, because it connects people, and like, oh, I have a cousin who has Tourette's, I have a friend who I went to school with a friend who has Tourette's, like even some of the Terminator cast I connected
Hmm.
with because of my Tourette's. Like one had a friend she put me in touch with who hopefully can help me with my Tourette's. Or
Right.
Schwarzenegger's stunt double told me about a friend of his who has Tourette's. We sat at the bar Saturday night and just chilled and spoke, and it's like,
Hmm.
Tourette's is a conversation starter and it connects me with a lot of people. So I'm grateful for it as much as it caused me pain, but I also feel
Yeah.
ashamed as an empathetic person. But as for this film industry, I've been wanting to work in the film industry since I was young. And only in the last few years during COVID, I've officially reached that point. And it was all because I hosted a podcast
Hmm.
called the Indiescape Network, or the network is called the Indiescape Network, and my podcast is called Cymbalista Cynicism. It's a play on my name. And I met a director in it named Cindy Sanabria, who's great, who was working on a film called Horror Able and Horror Able Women, a documentaries about filmmakers and actors with disabilities.
Right.
And we connected by I was interviewing her, and then eventually she hired me to be her editor, and I wound up being editor on both films because the editors dropped out or they couldn't do it for whatever personal disability issues or whatever. And
They
I
weren't
took
able.
on they weren't able, yeah. And I took on the role and I edited the short at
Right.
first, and then she had an editor for the feature, and then the editor for the feature dropped out. So I took on the feature, and that feature is one of the projects I'm most proud about because I got to it went to a film festival. I edited the whole film in a in a shorter amount of time than the short film, The Horrible Woman, and it went to a big film festival in Florida, Spooky Empire. And I was honored to be part of my first panel with my director, Cindy, who's directed the film. I edited it, and I'm very proud of it. Now it's on Amazon Prime.
Very good. I was going to ask you, and the name is called Horror Able?
Two words: horror able, and
All
the
right,
horror
cool.
able women, the short, which the feature also has women, but the short is strictly women. The short is on YouTube, and the feature is on Amazon Prime.
Cool. All right, nice. Now, let's
I just
see.
want to mention that that opened up doors for me as I
Right.
progressed. Like I got more jobs in the film industry after that. So it's like you get your foot in the door. Even though I knew a lot of these celebrities prior to working in the industry, now some of
Yeah,
them have
yeah.
worked with me or want to work with me or asked me to
Very
film
cool.
something. So it was an honor. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember a couple years you were telling me about working on this, and then ever since then, it seems like you've been really busy. So
Yeah. Very
that's how.
grateful.
Did you think that this would open doors for you?
Well, I've had a lot of odd jobs and ongoing projects over the years, like editing projects, which I got my editing skills 20 years ago before I even went to college.
Hmm.
So
Wow.
and I have done photography and videography before that. So
Hmm.
I knew that working jobs would open up more potential and possibilities for me. And but I didn't think like I get so many like in a short period of time.
Yeah,
I get so many like even if they weren't like big jobs, like it added up, and now I have my IMDb page, which is I never would
right.
have thought a few years ago that I'd have that so soon. Even though I've
Wow.
been doing this for years. So yeah.
Nice. Oh, I'm not surprised. It makes sense. It's cool. I'm really happy for you. It
By the way, you
definitely.
see yourself. Oh, uh, over there in your posters over there, your movie poster, Night's End, is right behind me.
Oh, maybe. Oh, I see. I see a
Wow.
little bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Sorry, I just
yeah.
had to point that out.
Oh, yeah. All right. So, what would you say? What's one or two of the coolest things that you worked on?
So definitely Horror Able is definitely my most
Okay.
proud one. I've worked on a number of projects.
Hmm.
I have some upcoming ones which I'm very excited about, but I can't say anything.
Well,
Um,
okay.
but I've worked on as a cameraman on a short film by one of the stars of the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. He directed this
Hmm.
film, and he hired
Hmm.
me as a cameraman, and he's been praising me ever since. He even praised me before, like he found me very intriguing, and
Well,
he was very excited to work with me. And I worked as assistant camera or third cameraman on his film, and it wound up in film festivals all over the world, and wound up winning film festivals all over the world, which I'm
that's
honored to be
cool.
part of that. And I also, even when I was in LA, and my friend asked me to be involved in a horror film, and I wound up doing the BTS on the upcoming Boop horror film, the Betty Boop
Mhm.
horror
Oh, right.
movie. now that the
Hmm.
public domain, you have the Mickey Mouse, you have the Popeye, you have the Winnie the Pooh, all these public
Hmm.
domain horror films. So I got to work as a BTS photographer and videographer on the on the Betty Boop horror film. And
Very
also, I
cool.
mentioned, that I knew these directors and people, these filmmakers and actors all before I
Yeah.
got into the industry. I actually, when I was in LA, I also my one of my favorite filmmakers, one of the Saw filmmakers, actually asked me to film his podcast, and that was like a dream come true. That was one of the best days of my life, not because I got to film a podcast, but because it was one of my favorite filmmakers that I've been dreaming to work
Right.
with. To ask me to work with him and another one of my favorite filmmakers on
Right.
their podcast, and that was an honor. It was a dream come true.
Well, I don't know. I've known you for maybe over 10 years, I want to say. We
12
know each
years
other.
almost.
And I think you're pretty trustworthy, and you care. You seem to have like a pretty strong commitment like me to like want to do the right thing, and
Hmm.
obviously you followed through a bunch of times. So one thing like both my parents taught me from like a young age is, you know, sure you want to have the skills. People want to work with you if you have,
Hmm.
certain skills or connections that they need, sure. But people, including myself, when I'm looking for people to include on things, they want to work with someone that they can trust or people that they have a good character. So I'm sure people met you and are like, okay, he obviously has the editing skills. He obviously has the camera skills. He obviously knows like everything about film. Maybe not everything, but
I
you know
also,
so
yeah,
much.
I have a
But
good
you
sense
also
of
have a
humor.
character.
Yes, and I am a character.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. But
I have a good
you
sense of
try really
humor,
hard
and
to do the
I've
right
been
thing.
told, yeah, I have a good sense of humor. I've been told on sets that I bring a lot of energy, good energy to the sets
Okay.
from people
Yeah.
I have just met, and I get the
Yeah.
morale going.
Oh yeah,
So
it actually you came to the film festival that I think I don't know if I was
you
no, I
hosted.
wasn't hosting. I was
Oh.
hosting shows there, but I wasn't hosting the whole event that time. No, maybe I was, but whatever, it doesn't matter. But I was hosting a
The
lot of
show to
stuff,
the
and
host
there's
to the actual host show, like the
yeah, I don't
attraction.
remember. One year I
Is the
hosted the whole
one
thing. It
where
doesn't
you
matter.
like you did the scream thing?
Yes, and you came and you really helped out with filming, but also there was like a lot of moving parts, and one of the cast members even got kicked out. He was so
Yes, I
problematic.
remember.
My cast member got kicked out. I think he got kicked out twice and then got
Yes,
let back in or something. And someone else brought an actual knife. The guy playing Mike Myers didn't bring a fake knife. He brought an actual like a steak knife. And I'm like, you can't
it
wait, what? So there
has
was
to be at
mayhem,
least
but you were very
retractable, if not
supportive.
rubber. Yeah.
No, it was real. And I'm like, you can't. What the hell? Yeah, I know. This is what happens when you cast people who aren't actors. But you were very supportive, and I really needed support that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When somebody
So,
listen, I've done my fair share of mistakes in my life and said stupid things,
yeah.
but the thing is that when it comes to at the end of the day, I care about my friends and I worry about them,
Mhm.
and I want I want them to be feel safe, and like if I ever made anybody feel unsafe, I would be kicking myself for years, you know?
Right. 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 I'm
I could
trying to
never
think if I've ever made anyone feel unsafe. I feel like I should make more people feel unsafe, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm surprised you don't.
I,
'Cause you're
I,
pretty tough. You're pretty tough, Jen.
really?
I don't know. I think you're tough.
Yeah, but
I
it
wouldn't want to
depends.
mess with you.
Yeah, no, 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 no. I had to calculate a long time ago, around the time we first met, because someone really was going after me,
I
and it's
remember.
happened since then. But I really calculated. I was really afraid. I was actually I actually caught myself doing what the phrase is sleeping with one eye open. I caught myself actually
I
like
remember.
having one eye open at one point because I was so afraid this guy was going to come through my ground floor apartment window and like kidnap me to make the things come true. So I calculated, okay, if this guy really did like come after me, I'm like, I figured out it would really be like Kazakhstan going against the US and China and Russia, and it would be no problem. So,
Hmm.
whatever. But anyway, back to you. Now, the surprises in filmmaking. I feel like filmmaking for me, even recording interviews today, is full of surprises. I had surprises on my last interview, things that never happened. What are some unexpected things that have happened on the film set or post-production, pre-production?
Well, weather is definitely one. I mean, but that's not
Sure,
unsuspecting, just bad weather.
sure.
Oh, I mean, I wouldn't say unsuspecting. I'd say like unfortunate or like things that went wrong or things that were just
Hmm.
disappointing.
Hmm.
But that happens with all sets. Like I know
Hmm.
sometimes like cameras have issues, so I have to constantly like if let's say I'm running three cameras and one of them heats up too much, they're not mine, but it was heating up too much. I have to turn it off and let it cool off, and then so I have to like because let's say a video was going to be multicammed where we shoot with multiple cameras, and then we edit it together, and because we time it and we edit it together and cut it together, um, it could cut from different angle to different angle, and but then we lose an angle because the camera is hot or the cameras
Yeah.
have issues, or sometimes there's drama with people on set.
Hmm.
Sometimes you have that, and you've
Hmm.
seen it in big productions like with Christian Bale and other
Hmm.
celebrities. It happens sometimes. There's drama on set. Um,
What kind
what
of drama?
else?
Can you tell us? Can you tell us any story?
I'd rather not because it's for a project that I worked on it's not my place to say.
Okay, okay.
So,
Sure.
but everything worked out in the end. That's all that mattered. The production was
That's good.
completed and everything
Okay.
worked out. That's all that matters.
Hmm.
And the film is coming out this year. I'm just looking forward to that. It was an honor to be part of. And listen, even in the horror convention world or New York Film Festival or the film festival world,
Hmm.
there's always going to be drama or
Yeah.
patches you hit. Listen, there's a lot of productions that run short on not that I've run well, sort of maybe we're short on funds
Hmm.
and we things had to be squeezed out or like I had to take a pay cut, to or not no pay at all so the production could
Hmm.
watch its budget and I offered to help out and take a role for free, and that doesn't always happen. It has happened, but it's unfortunate. But you know what? If I could get my name in there,
Right.
it's worth a day or two of work.
Yeah, I always ask about what goes wrong and what goes right. Sure, it could be interesting, for listeners, gossip, but I'm not really the TMZ type. I'm more of like, let's diagnose the problem and prevent problems. Like along came Polly, the risk analysis, assessment analysis. So that's really why I ask. It's because if you know what went wrong on this set, you can go, oh, okay. Like, let's say co-stars are dating. That can often end in a bad way. Maybe you don't want to do that. Or, maybe you're having meetings and there's a lot of drinking involved. That's a lot of
It's very
problems,
funny you said all this because I just watched a video yesterday about Queen of the
Hmm.
Damned with Aaliyah that
Hmm.
she died
Hmm.
when it came out, and that the director was up to the third act and like the director didn't only film like two-thirds of the movie, and he was running low on funds like that. He had to
Hmm.
bring his own funds. The actors had to put in their own funds. Like they were squeezing themselves out for everything just to get the film done.
Hmm.
Like it was like a third of the film or the finale or whatever, the climax, like they were working their asses off, like and spending so much of their own money just to get the film that they put so much into completed. And
Hmm.
that happens sometimes. Listen, even this first Saw film, the producers and directors, whichever, I forget, put all their own money into the film and like put in everything they had, and now it's like a billion dollar
Right,
plus box office hit like franchise.
right, right, right.
You never know, but like, and there was a lot of problems in productions in some of the Saw films, like just getting things done and completed
Hmm.
and disagreements, like so that it just happens sometimes, but it's worth the investment for a lot of people. Sometimes it's
Hmm.
not, but for the people I know, it has been worth the investment.
Right, right. Well, maybe it was coincidence that the Saw creators invested, or maybe something they had a good instinct because part of success at life in health, if anything, is knowing when to double down, when to keep investing in this food, this
To
film,
have
this
faith in it.
actor,
They had faith in it.
and
And
when to
I don't
pull
know if you've
out.
ever seen the first Saw film, but the ending is
I
like,
think I did.
so the ending is one of the biggest, greatest, rated one of the greatest twist endings of all time in
Hmm.
cinema. So I think that ending is what got people to fall in love with it and birthed
Hmm.
the sequels, which six more sequels over the course of the next 6 years or 7 years,
Crazy.
and then more sequels later on in the long run. And
Right.
yeah, it's become one of the most successful horror franchises of all time.
Yeah, I actually like felt physical pain while watching it because it was just the way it was done and shot. It was very
A lot of
scary, and I
fast-paced
felt
editing.
like things were happening.
Yeah, there's a lot of fast-paced editing in the Saw films, which I enjoy. But what I love about it most is the non-linear storytelling and the twists. It's very
Oh, okay,
complex storytelling.
interesting. Interesting. So it wasn't like someone being like thrown into a meat grinder. That
Oh
wasn't
no,
what
no,
they were
no!
doing.
There was definitely somebody getting thrown into a pit of needles. That's for sure.
Oh,
The
oh my
meat
God.
grinder thing, definitely similar things. I wouldn't say a meat grinder. That the meat grinder thing was more Texas Chainsaw 3D. That was my
Hmm.
friend Dan Yeager played Leatherface in that. But I'm just looking at the poster of him. Well, yeah, he chases somebody and cuts off their hand and they fall right into a meat grinder. But I don't think there's a meat grinder in Saw, but there's definitely
Yeah,
grinder
there's like some
things
pigs. There's like a
involving
bunch. It's the
the
thing that
pigs. The
that
pigs fall
crushes
into
the
the meat grinder and it
pigs.
cuts up the dead pigs and it drowns a guy in prison.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, there's something
the
like
third
that.
one.
I don't know. It is gross, but anyway, you know, I like Caddyshack. I like stuff like that. You
Comedies,
know,
yeah.
yeah, I like to laugh. I don't want to see anyone hurt in real life at all. Even if I
I
don't
get
really don't
more
like
grossed
them, I
out by
still
real,
laugh.
like a little bit of blood in real life than I do in the horror movies with the gore.
Interesting. Well,
Like,
anyway,
if
Gabe,
so, let's say
where do we
somebody
end?
in my family hit their
We
head and
gotta
they're
we gotta
bleeding.
end, Gabe.
Okay,
I'm sorry,
sorry.
we gotta cut it
All
and
right.
call it off. Sorry.
All right.
We're way over the time limit. And listen, I'd have you here for a few more minutes, but I got someone waiting, and Mark Torres says I have to keep these interviews to 20 minutes or less, and we are over 20 minutes. So on
Oh
that note,
wow.
Gabe, tell us where to find you.
Find me on Instagram at Gabriel Symbols 2. That's GABRIELS CYMBALS 2 at Gmail. Sorry, I'm talking about my Gmail. That's my Instagram. My Facebook is Gabe Cymbalista, spelled CYMBALISTA. That's CYMBALISTA. The first name Gabriel. I don't think you need help spelling that. Um, my Twitter, I don't really use much. Um, my TikTok is Gabe Symbols or Gabe Symbolista. I'm not sure, but you could pretty much figure that out. Um, and yeah, I don't really use Snapchat much, but sometimes. But yeah, I'm a social media whore. I'll admit it. So so I
All
post
right.
a lot, but I like to entertain people. I have friends who just love watching my stuff online and gets them through the day. So
Well, look them up. I'm sure Gabe will be up to some really interesting things this year and next year and probably the year after that. And on that note, back to the studio with Mark Torres for more. It came from the radio.